What's going on, everybody? My name is JustinGaming, and it's already that time of the year again. E3 is almost here. So today I'm joined by the members of Gaming at its Core. We have Blue Danger,
Yo.
OnlineZhD,
Hello.
Mealkick Media,
Hey.
and we also have TheStarkz.
Hello.
Alright, so this is going to be the very first video where we talk about our E3 pre-coverage. So basically what we're going to be doing is, up until E3, each week we're going to be making 2 to 3 videos regarding E3 on a various number of topics. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about 2 game sequels that we want to be announced. So even though these games might not necessarily be announced at E3, these are games that we just want to see sequels of. So yeah, I'd say without further ado, let's get straight into it. I'm going to start off by asking OnlineZhD.
Alright, so the first game sequel that I really want to announce, and this is kind of like one that's like a little bit iffy to a lot of people because it just recently got a sequel, but I just want like a faithful linear Mirror's Edge sequel, like something that relates to the original game back on the PS3. Honestly, that game made up my 2013 childhood, like the summer of 2013, just before the PlayStation 4 came out. That was like one of the last PS3 games with The Last of Us that I played a lot. I remember going through each level, just keep going back into the levels and just, the way the linear levels were made, that they're like, quality, and I feel like the open world just felt really bland, and it just felt like, typical open world games, and it just felt like, Mirror's Edge was the lost game that fell into the trap of like the typical open world games that we see nowadays. The linear games that Mirror's Edge was just way better in my opinion, and just, man, I just remember time trialing all the time in that game, and yeah, it was just a blast. I mean, I guess you guys can relate to that, too many open world games nowadays, but just give me like another faithful sequel to style game, and I feel like that game would have done better, and just ultimately I think the fans would have reacted more positively to the game. And honestly, I don't see it being announced anytime soon, or if at all, because it's kind of going to be a dead game if it, I think Catalyst didn't really sell well. But
yeah, Catalyst sold really poorly. So.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a little, yeah, I feel like if there is going to be a sequel though, they're going to have to go back to that linear kind of style. And yeah, I mean, maybe I'm just praying. I mean, if EA can get past that whole Star Wars thing, yeah.
I feel like we won't see a sequel anytime soon, though.
Yeah, it's just a wish I really want. Sucks though.
Like, at least not for a few years.
Yep, exactly. I don't see this being announced until like at least 2020 or something, if they decide to come back to it.
If they ever do it.
Yeah,
that's
if they ever do it though. So yeah, I guess that's my first game.
My first one's Monster Hunter on PS4. Monster Hunter is a franchise that I absolutely fucking adore. And recently, in the past few years, it's really been a dedicated Nintendo game, even though it originated on PlayStation systems. And recently, Capcom used to say that they sort of changed the mindset of Monster Hunter with how many people actually want Monster Hunter, not only in the West, because there's certain Japanese exclusive Monster Hunter games on PS4 and on PC, like Monster Hunter Online. The overwhelming amount of people that wanted those games in the West, or just a Monster Hunter game in the West. Capcom said that they do realize that with the increasing success and increasing sales numbers of the PS4, they do realize that if they want any game that they put out to succeed, they're gonna have to go with PlayStation. They can't keep it exclusively to Nintendo, or even just go third party again. And they did. I'm pretty sure I saw Joe Raptor's video. He did about an upcoming Capcom game, and they've got like 4 possible options. But the most likely to sell the best would be Monster Hunter, and I think that's completely true, because I'm one of those people that desperately wants a Monster Hunter because it would sell like fuck, because there aren't many of those games on the PS4 at all. And it's a really unique game, really gameplay centric, just a really good game. And the one thing that Monster Hunter always slipped up in was graphical fidelity, because it basically does look like an up-res PS2 game, even on like the Wii U and the 3DS. So to see one not only come to the West, but to come to the PS4 is something I would be absolutely insanely excited for. What platform? I'm not really sure. That could be something that could be placed in any conference, not necessarily Sony's or Microsoft. It could be on any. It could be a Scorpio-focused game. And it would sell great. But I think with Monster Hunter being a PlayStation original, its origins lying with PlayStation and the affiliation Capcom have had with PlayStation, it would make more sense to be PS4 focused, or even maybe even an exclusive. And this year would be the year to do it, seeing as it's been a while since we've had a console Monster Hunter game, the last one being in 2013 with 3U. So yeah, that's my first game, Monster Hunter PS4.
All right, Dan.
I think, yeah, I'll go with this one for my first one. I'd probably say that the sequel I'd probably want to see the most, out of the two I've got here, is probably, and I've mentioned this before on some of the podcasts, that's a sequel to Batman Arkham Origins. I know it's not something that's massively wanted by most of the community, but for me personally, I just really liked Arkham Origins, and I was really interested to see what else Warner Brothers Montreal would do after that game, because of course they were working on Suicide Squad game, but then obviously that got cancelled. I think it was last year, which I'll probably, if that hadn't got cancelled, I probably would have put this on the list. But of course now that game's dead. So yeah, I really hope that they do continue with something Batman related after what happened to the Suicide Squad game, because I have heard rumors, obviously, saying that the next Batman game by Warner Brothers is going to be like in the future you play as Damian Wayne. Sounds cool and all, but for me personally, it just doesn't really suit me. I always wanted to see a sequel to Arkham Origin just because I really like that story, and it'd just be really interesting to see what happened between the events of Origins and Arkham Asylum. I mean, I know we had Origins Blackgate that came out on the PS Vita, but I don't really consider that much of a sequel. It doesn't really fill in a whole lot in terms of the Arkham Origins plot, and I mean, I just love the Batman Arkham series. I love Origins. Well, maybe love's a bit too strong, but I just love Origins, and I would just like to see what they could do with a sequel. If not that, then just please make me that Suicide Squad game, because I was really looking forward to that, and then they cancelled it, and it really pissed me off. So yeah, that's my first pick for a sequel I want to see, but I know it probably won't happen at all.
Yeah, I think it's pretty likely it can happen.
I don't know. It's just that with the fact that Rocksteady, just ended theirs, and I think that will probably put Montreal on a bit of a standstill in terms of, oh shit, do we want to carry on with this game? Considering that Rocksteady, the people who made the games, they're finished with it. If we make another one, people are going to start saying, oh, we're sugarcoating the series. Like, that's what most people who just, flat out hate on them for quote-unquote milking the series, which I think is complete bullshit. That's what most of them would probably say if they released another one, which is why I don't think they would do it, but I personally would just like to see another Arkham game from them, but I just don't think it'll happen.
Do you really think it should happen now? Do you not think 4 is enough?
I don't know, because the thing, I've made this point very clear. I wasn't a fan of Arkham Knight. I didn't like the way it concluded the series, and I think that's why I want an extra Arkham game, because I want, for me personally, to leave the series on a high note. I just don't think Arkham Knight was much of a high note for me personally, and that's probably why I would want another game, because maybe that would soften Arkham Knight's disappointment for me personally. But that's probably why I want it.
I can think they can keep pumping out Batman games like every 3 or 4 years or so.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't find it milked, honestly, as long as the games quality are good. I mean, Batman's a universal, where you're obviously a superhero fighting crimes, just like, something that's already out there in the media, like comics and everything. It's not something that has like a definitive story. I guess I get it. Yeah, it does, but still. Yeah, I could see it.
Yeah, I couldn't really, to be honest. I mean, I get what you mean. I know you want another one, but I mean, with the way the ended Night, it just really felt like, even though that was a bit of a dog shit conclusion, it was like they're not going to continue with that.
Dog shit's putting it lightly,
but,
mate.
like, they're not.
Dog shit's putting it lightly.
You just don't want to continue with that franchise, and if they were to make a prequel, of course, Rocksteady themselves don't consider Origins the true prequel. It's sort of like the red-headed bastard child they treated the franchise, because they always refer to the Arkham games as a trilogy, not a quadrilogy. So for them to make a prequel, it's kind of like trying to fill in and push away Arkham Origins, which is, I know they don't consider it a mainline Batman game, but it is still technically is, but just by a different developer. So that would kind of be like reiterating Origins, and then to make a sequel to a game that they felt like was a true conclusion to the Batman franchise would just feel a bit misplaced. But I would have liked Arkham Knight to be way better than what it was. But a sequel, not necessarily. I think they're just done with that franchise, and we kind of just start really get repetitive with it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I wouldn't want Rocksteady to make it. That's why I want Montreal to do it, because, like I said, I liked Origins. There was some good concepts with it, and I think with Rocksteady, I just felt like they went too big in their aims in the sequels. Like, the first Arkham Asylum was so simple, and it was good, and then by each of the Arkham games that Rocksteady made, they tried to make it bigger and better, and it just didn't ultimately turn out that well for the games in terms of, you know, making them, for me personally, better games in general. I mean, sure, they may have had better gameplay in terms of, you know, the fluidity of it and the mechanics behind it, but I think just overall in terms of memorability aspect and, you know, sticking with you more and being like, oh yeah, that was a great tight focused game, they kind of lost that with the sequels as they tried to go for this more open environment, you know, with trying to, you know, appeal more to the, I guess, the open world, you know, genre that people were craving for during the, you know, the time that the sequels came out. And I think that was why I slowly fell off with Rocksteady, whereas with Montreal, I thought with Origins they did try to tell a more interesting story. That's why I want to see a sequel by them. I don't want Rocksteady's hands anyway in a sequel, because after what they did with fucking Arkham Knight, I don't want to see anything else made by Rocksteady related to Batman games, to be perfectly honest. I just don't think they would be able to capture what made Arkham Asylum so great for me personally.
Yeah.
Alright, Jaden.
Is he dead?
Wow. Alright, well, Jaden's dead. Alright, I'll go then. Alright, so for a game sequel that I want. Alright, so the first one I put down was a sequel to The Order 1886. Now, for me, I still remember the first time I played The Order 1886. It wasn't like, I really didn't find it anything special. Like, it's not that the game was bad. It's obviously like the game lacked kind of substance and variety, and also like, you know, the game was just super short, right? But I went back, like, I think it was, what was it, like a few months back, I went back and replayed it and got the platinum, and I actually came around to like enjoying the game a lot more. So that in itself, I think The Order 1886 definitely deserves a sequel. I'm not sure if it'll happen like anytime soon, because of course, if you go and check Ready at Dawn's website on their careers page, I think it says something like they're creating a new IP. So yeah, I don't think we're gonna be seeing like a sequel to The Order anytime soon, but that's just something that I wanted. So yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, Jade, you can go now.
Yeah, so I was talking earlier, but for whatever reason my mic cut off. Anyways, the sequel that I would like to see is Overwatch.
Oh.
And
How could you make a sequel to that?
And well, I mean, easily you just come up with like, I don't know, like 10 different heroes or something. I don't know.
They just
I
add that
really
into
like
the
the
game.
original version
Yeah.
of Overwatch. It was very unique. The concept was really cool. And I still play it to this day because it's an amazing video game. And
Nope.
I think for
Because
a
there's
sequel-
nothing else that you play.
I think for, yeah, there is Uncharted 4, The Last of Us, Horizon Zero Dawn, which I don't like. But anyways,
Oh, shots
for
fired.
Overwatch, they can, even for a sequel, they can add an actual story for the game and even improve on what they didn't have in the original. So that's one of the reasons why I want it.
Interesting.
All right.
I don't see a sequel happening for a while because I think the game has a ton of life into it.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah,
It
fair enough.
does. Yeah.
It's gonna be lasting for at least
I
like.
think it will be built
Wow.
upon eventually, maybe in like 10 years or so.
10 years.
I don't know how
What?
long.
Not 10 years. Come on.
I mean, Blizzard's known for not really like.
Well, the game.
releasing
I don't think
games.
Overwatch is gonna die out anytime soon.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's true.
It's kind of like a Team Fortress or a CS:GO at this point.
Yeah, Blizzard's not the type of dev
Yeah,
that would
exactly.
reiterate the franchises. They like to stretch them out and just keep supplying them
Yeah.
with a regular flow of content rather than releasing a new full game because it
Yeah, that
segregates
doesn't
the
mean-
community.
Doesn't mean it's not gonna happen though. So.
No, it doesn't, but it won't be anywhere
Yeah,
near
but
future.
not for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's definitely gonna happen, but just not anytime soon.
Mhm.
All right, Brandon, your second.
I guess I'll go around. Yep. So this next one's also a game that just recently got a sequel. So yeah, it's just something I also just really want to see another installment from, and that is the Tomb Raider series. I really want to see Shadow of the Tomb Raider and just see what they're gonna do with the, you know, the third one in their whole reboot. I've been loving the reboot series so far. I thought Tomb Raider and the reboot in 2013 was phenomenal. The game was great. Honestly, it was up there with Last of Us and BioShock Infinite and GTA 5 for 2013. Great year of gaming, by the way. And just seeing what they did with Shadow of the Tomb Raider just felt like just as good. I feel like the environments were a little bit like, you know, under par with the first one. But in terms of gameplay, I feel like they even improved that. The characters, people, you know, they always hate on the story, saying it's nothing really special. I feel like I know what happened in Shadow of the Tomb Raider and I know the story behind it. I feel like it doesn't, I mean, it's not going to be something like Uncharted with the characters, but I feel like Tomb Raider to me doesn't have like the best characters, but I feel like it has a decent story to it. Just kind of cliche at the times, but man, the gameplay, Shadow of the Tomb Raider kind of filled like the void of Uncharted 4 in gameplay to me. Like as you guys know, Uncharted 4 was mainly for its story, and I love it for that fact. It was closing off the fact that Nathan Drake, you know, was leaving this behind and he was doing this for his brother. But I felt like Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Uncharted 4 were perfect for 2016. They kind of like, you know, bounced off on each other. One lacked story, the other one lacked gameplay, and they kind of filled each one, you know. So yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider was obviously like the action-packed Uncharted 4.
Which one lacked gameplay?
Well, Uncharted 4 didn't have as much gameplay as like the previous games, but I honestly don't find that as a bad thing. I got that in Shadow of the Tomb Raider, so I mean I got that in Rise of the Tomb Raider. Yeah, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, I'm really excited for it, even though it's not being made by Crystal Dynamics.
Okay.
That's interesting though, because I mean, IMO, I think the writing was horrendous in Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah,
I think that's
agreed.
right about the story. The story itself was great, but the writing was piss poor. In terms of gameplay, Tomb Raider is vastly better than Uncharted because Uncharted is the epitome of a cover-based third-person shooter. It's basically PlayStation's version of Gears when it comes to gameplay. Although there's nothing really wrong with that, it's really solid. But yeah, I can definitely see why you're excited for a new Tomb Raider game. If you could ask for anything to be improved upon, like the main aspects, what would you say? Because obviously gameplay is solid. So would you honestly say a better story, better writing, better characters, or
Fleshed out characters, honestly.
yeah?
And not cliche moments, honestly. I feel like the set pieces were pretty cool, like with the whole art, like the whole van as they're going to, I believe, Syria. Or was it?
Was it? Yeah, that was cool.
With the helicopter.
Just the
and
But
environment.
but it looked
I
kind of
feel like the thing that makes Laura not likable as much to me is she's always like a facts kind of person. She always takes everything so seriously, and while that is in her, like, you know, who she is as a character, it kind of finds it hard to like her when she's always so serious and she never really laughs.
Yeah, that's what I always
Anything that
found with
makes
Tomb
it
Raider the reboots is that Lara, as poorly written as she was actually like the best written character in the whole game.
Yeah,
And
she was. Besides, yeah, Jonah probably came second, but he wasn't really in it much.
yeah, exactly. But on a game,
I'm glad that they got rid of like the reboot that didn't like the characters that didn't really matter much at all.
No.
I'm glad they got rid of them and they focused on Jonah because I think he was like the most likable one in the original reboot.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they continue with that. I mean, I feel like they're going in the right direction as long as, you know, I think it was, I forgot their name, the creators of DSX that are gonna be working on this third one.
Crystal Dynamics.
Edius
No,
Studios.
Crystal Dynamics are working on
was
the
it,
now.
I don't know.
I think it's AOS something. I forgot. They
Edios.
worked on Deus Ex. I
Yeah.
just hope they don't
Eidos.
screw it
He
up.
also worked on Arkham Origins. I mean, Arkham Asylum as well.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Just the only thing I just hope for is they don't like, you know, push this game out too quickly because there is being a movie and that's going to be released next year about the reboot, I believe, the reboot. And I just hope they don't push this to that time of the year just to get sales on the movie. Just hope that, you know, this team takes their time and just makes it good. And yeah, I feel like the what am I saying? The reboot is, you know, the series that they've been doing with Tomb Raider has been phenomenal, or at least great to me personally, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, stoked for that. Even though it won't be an E3 2017 event, I think it's been confirmed about that.
Yeah, no E3.
Yep.
All right, Blue.
My second sequel that I would absolutely love, but it is nowhere near. It's not even development. It's probably getting contemplated though. Is Mario Galaxy 3? Good lord, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2.
Seriously?
Yeah, no, it's not at all happening for many years because obviously Odyssey is now the focus. But after Odyssey, I think the next Mario game should be Galaxy 3 because I think Galaxy 1 and 2 were just so impeccable, just really, really incredible games. And I'd absolutely love to see a sequel. And that's something that when we talk about system sales for Switch, I think that's right up there in like a top 3 of what could push the most units because the Galaxy franchise is one of the most revered in gaming history and obviously very successful. Especially given the fact that the Wii's software attachment rate was abysmal and it still managed to sell good numbers. It goes to show how good those games actually were, and Galaxy 2 is one of the best games of all time in my opinion. But yeah, I'd absolutely love a Mario Galaxy 3. It'll be interesting to see how that's what I would be most interested to see about that game is how they change it, because as good as Galaxy 2 was, it was kind of like a refinement of the original with new gameplay implementations, you know, with Yoshi and that. So it'd be interesting to see what changes they could make in 3, but in all honesty, I mean, it could just be it could be a refinement of 2 and it would be another masterpiece. So I think that's like a really a game for Nintendo to at least think about once they're done with Odyssey, because I think that could be something that could really push units and satisfy a lot of people.
I agree. Those are like some of my favorite games of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
I like New Super Mario Bros.
Oh,
Doesn't get close.
That's my
to
favorite.
Galaxy.
That's one of my favorite. Yeah. What?
Out of interest,
Are
what
you
one's your favorite
serious?
out of the new Super Mario Bros? Which one's your favorite?
Me?
No, Jaden.
The first.
Oh.
Yeah, I never knew there was a second actually. So.
Do you mean
Or,
original Mario
like
Bros? Or do
the
you mean
Wii one,
news?
like the new Super
Yes.
Mario Bros. Wii one. It was on the
Oh,
Wii.
Wii. Oh, thank God,
Yeah.
yeah. Wii is easily the best one.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
And the case was red as well. It was
Yeah,
fucking
exactly. Yeah.
Sexy as fuck case. But yeah, Galaxy 3. Can't wait. I would absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll go next. Mine would probably be the thing was there was a lot of rumors debating the game they're gonna say now. I think it was literally like earlier this week or last week when it was being teased a bit, with images, and everybody was like, "Oh shit, this game could happen." But then obviously they did a complete 180 and were like, "Oh yeah, it's just throwback images," and that would be a sequel slash prequel game to Far Cry 3. I'm not sure if you guys saw that on Twitter, but with all the, I think it was like when someone, I think it was like, which Ubisoft Twitter account was it that posted the image? I can't remember. Was it like the France one?
It was something on Facebook, I know, right?
Yeah, because they posted like an image of Far Cry 3, and then I saw it and I'm like, oh shit, is this actually happening? And then it's like, oh no, it's just a throwback image. It really pissed me off, but yeah, I really want to see a sequel to that game that actually either, precedes the narrative of it, like a prequel game, or one that follows after, just because I love Far Cry 3. It's probably one of my favorite open world games I've played, to be perfectly honest. I love that game so much. And out of a sequel or a prequel, I would probably most want a prequel. Probably a game, and I know, like I said, I know this game is never going to happen because the Far Cry games never take place like straight after the other. They aren't linked necessarily. The only two games that I could say honestly are linked are probably 3 and 4, because some characters in 3 either appear in 4 or are mentioned. So I know this game would never happen, but I would want to see a prequel. Probably for me personally, the one I'd love to see the most is probably you play as Vass, like a prequel as to how he loses his mind over the course of the game. That was one I always wanted to see. But, I mean, like I said, I know this game will never happen because of the Far Cry series and what each game usually is, because they just like to get more and more outlandish and, like, further away from each one. But, yeah, that'd probably be the second sequel I'd most want to see. Closely tied with Skate 4, sorry. Oh my god, what? But yeah, it was between those two, but because I know Skate 4 is a really popular option, I'd rather just go with one that I personally would want to see a bit more of. So yeah, Far Cry 3 sequel.
Alright, I'll go next. Okay, so for my second game, I've actually talked about this game like many times, but I've actually want a sequel to Alan Wake. Now, Remedy's actually currently working on like a new game codenamed P7, so yeah, it's not like an Alan Wake sequel is gonna happen anytime soon. It's just that that game I played on PC, like I already told you guys, like what, a year back already, and yeah, I had fun with it. Obviously the game had a pretty cool story. I thought that the gameplay could use some improvements because I felt like it was a bit repetitive. So I think that like the potential it had and like the groundwork that it set, that was cool in itself. And I just think that a sequel could bring lots of new gameplay potential.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's not like we're gonna see the game anytime soon. As I said, they're currently working on P7, which is gonna be like another action adventure story game, and that's cool because we're gonna be able to play it because it's gonna be coming to PS4
Finally.
So yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, it's good.
That's
Because like Remedy makes the type of games that they're comparable to something like Naughty Dog, I guess. I
In a
guess
way,
you could
yeah.
compare it in a sort of way. Like
Third-person story driven.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's cool to see their games coming over to PS4, and I would love to see a sequel to Alan Wake sometime in the future. All right, Jaden.
You guys can hear
Yep.
me, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, we can
Okay,
hear you.
so for my second game, it'll have to be Evolve. It's a pretty cool
Really?
game.
Good God.
My god.
Yeah. What do you mean really? It's such
Oh,
a good
I hate
game.
No,
I had
no.
fun with the game.
Didn't Evolve get rated? Like
Yeah,
shit?
I didn't
No,
enjoy
the
Evolve.
thing was with Evolve, it was actually, it took Monster Hunter's concept and turned it into an FPS and just made it the most lifeless thing.
Yeah, I didn't
I've
like
never
it.
played anything
I
like
didn't
it.
like it.
I thought it was pretty cool, and I think there's not a story for it, right? So I think they
No.
can also do that for a second game. However, I have a few other games as well that I want to mention, and that'll have to be Minecraft,
Oh
if that
my
counts
God.
really. Rocket League, and I think for
Roblox.
Rocket League they can do like an airplane rocket kind of thing.
More
Broforce, which was really cool.
More
No
bros.
Man's Sky, just because it.
We know that game
Shit,
isn't
man.
happening, Jaden.
And I know that this game
You think
actually
anyone
had.
would buy a
No.
No Man's Sky 2?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like that, whatever. And
Even
Tom
more
Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, but I know that had a other.
Oh,
games in the
damn
past,
it.
but, like, whatever.
Oh, you mentioning Tom
games.
Clancy just made me think of another one I really want. I want to see another Splinter Cell game. Oh, completely forgot about that, because literally we haven't had one since Blacklist in 2013. Like that series has been dead for like 4
Yeah.
years. Oh, I can't believe I forgot that game.
But anyways, yeah. So Overwatch and Evolve for me.
God.
Wow, that's interesting. What is it that you love so much about Valve?
Well, I've never played a game like it, and I thought the concept of you have 5 hunters and then you have 5 monsters battling out one another. I thought it was pretty cool, and it reminds me actually a lot about it reminds me about Killing Floor 2, which I've played, recently with Brandon actually. So I don't know. The concept was pretty cool. I mean, I'm not saying it's the best game in the world or anything like that. It was pretty simplistic in terms of like. The characters, I guess, just because like you have like I don't know. I think there was like medics, and then you have like support and all that different. Like games have these where you have like even in Overwatch, like you have this one guy that has like a shield, which would be Reinhardt, and stuff like that. So I don't know. I like games like that where you have different like characters that have their own distinctive
Class setups.
yeah, exactly. So that's what I really enjoyed about Evolve. So yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
especially since I don't like it.
It's just, I think what the problem, I'm not going to go on a rant, but the problem with Evolve was that the level design was
Yeah.
actually really poor in the way that it made it wasn't actually the fact that the game was unbalanced, it was the fact that the level design was really really strenuous, and just it's too rounded, if you get what I mean. It's like it's like an arena style match. So essentially, if you have a good team of hunters who are using mics, like if us four were to play Evolve, then then the hunters would indefinitely win. If it's just random guys you're playing in matchmaking, the monster wins because the monster can just piss off and hide, get to level 3, and then instantly kill everyone, which is
yeah, that's the
bullshit,
problem that I had actually, because
he could always just run away from the hunters, and because of the level design, he would never be caught.
yeah.
So yeah, I get what you mean with it. I don't know. That's not a game I'll like to see a sequel, and I don't think we will at all. But
No, I don't think we.
fair enough if you liked it. The concept's cool. It's the same as Monster Hunter. I like that type of concept. 4v1.
Yeah.
Alright, well, that basically is our 2 games that we want to see announced, or sequels, I should say. But yeah, so this is good. This is of course the first part of our pre-E3 coverage. You can expect another part sometime later this week, and you can expect like 2 or 3 parts every week up until E3, of course. So yeah, make sure to of course let us know 2 game sequels that you want down below in the comments. We'll see you guys in the next part of our pre-E3 coverage. Thanks a lot for watching.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.